There's one spectacular passage in John 6 where Jesus says he's the bread of life. And unless we eat him, we'll die. Now, we read words like that today and you think it's jolly close to cannibalism. Or those of us who are more religiously inclined might think maybe it's the sacrament, Holy Communion, something like that. Originally, that's not what it meant at all. Don't forget that in the ancient world, just about everybody worked at handcraft or on the farm. So they were much closer to the land than we are today. If you ask a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old today, where does food come from? Oh, from Jewel Osco, or whatever your groceteria chain is in this region. Isn't that what they'll say? But you ask anybody in the first century where it comes from, and they'll say from plants and animals. They've grown it themselves. So anybody in the first century knows that you live because the chicken died. You live because the carrots have been pulled up and killed. All of this organic stuff that we feed ourselves with, which we must have or we die, has given its life for us in substitution. Either we die or it dies. Maybe tonight when you go home you'll stop at McDonald's or something more sophisticated. What will you eat? Dead cow. Dead lettuce. Dead tomato. Dead barley. Dead wheat. Everything that had once been living and is now dead, except for a few minerals like salt, of which there may be too much. That's what you will eat. And it is all given its life for you. Either it dies or you die. Now, of course, in the case of the cow, it didn't volunteer, nor in the case of the lettuce. The point is not the voluntary nature of such substitution, but the reality of it. Either you die, or something else living dies so that you may live. And Jesus dares take that language and says, unless you eat of me, you die. I die so that you may live. For the whole burden of the New Testament is that Jesus dies a substitutionary death. He does not deserve to die. But when God sent him to do his Father's will, to go to the cross and die, it was with a purpose, to die our death, so that we don't have to die, so that we may have eternal life. That's what the text is saying. God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son. He gave his one and only Son. He did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him, that whoever believes in him may have eternal life. We do not finally ingest physically this Christ. We believe in him. We trust him. And discover that his life becomes ours. As our death becomes his life becomes ours.